it was time to create a platform where instructors could connect directly with their students. I was feeling very disenchanted with my studio classes and just, I had no autonomy in my business, and really saw software as an opportunity to support my own offerings and then also support other instructors as well with their offerings. And up until last week, most of the offerings on the LoveDub platform were international yoga retreats, wellness retreats. So Bali, Costa Rica, some in Northern California. And needless to say, we've had to pivot. And I saw an opportunity to help instructors reach their audience through platforms like Zoom, using LoveDub as the booking and scheduling and promotion network. So that being said, the biggest thing that has come up as I've been transitioning instructors from teaching live classes to virtual classes has been this fear around technology, and a fear about like, what is it like for them? Like, I've never done this before. I'm not really good at technology. And so I just want to share a story about a class. It was just the second class that we had on the platform last night. Hannah Muse, who's out of Santa Cruz, taught a class that had over 100 people in it last night. So she asked me to share this story. She can't make it to the webinar, but she wanted to just convey to everyone that she's a very analog person, and it was very, very easy for her to do. I took the class myself, and I was in tears because it was just so beautiful. There were people all over the world practicing yoga in their living room. It was messy. There were dogs, there were children, bad, poor connections, everything, but it was so incredibly beautiful. So I just wanted to start by saying that the beginning process most likely will have some hiccups in it, and that's okay. What's really important is, looks like Hannah is here. What really is important is that we stay connected with our students and are there to support our community. So I think one of the most important things during this time is a healthy immune system, and we get a healthy immune system by being connected with our community, doing movement and meditation. And so what you're doing right now, taking the first steps to connect with your community through platforms is really, really important right now. So all that out of the way. I also want to say one other short story. One of my favorite instructors, when I first was teaching yoga, it was like my second class or something. She said to me, I had a really terrible class, and I went to her and I said, "Oh, Sophie, my class was so terrible. I totally bombed. Everything went wrong." And she was actually in the class, and she was like, "Nothing was wrong at all. It was a lovely class. And it's not really about you. It's about the people in the room. So just remember that when you're doing these online experiences, that it really isn't about you. I mean, you are the channel that the students are getting this beautiful work from, but it's really about the people who are in the class. So just get out of your own way and enjoy it, and every time you'll do it, it gets a lot better after that. So the reason we created LoveDub, I kind of touched on this a little bit, is because we really believe that instructors need ownership of their business. And if you just depend on studio classes alone, things like this can happen. Studios close. You can lose time slots. So it's really important that you fortify yourself in your own business. And that's what Dynasty and the rest of the LoveDub team really do to support our community, is teach instructors how to have good business skills and wear both the entrepreneurial hat and also the fitness and wellness professional hat. So some of the benefits of using LubDub is you're totally in control. You can set your own pricing. You can set your own class times. Those class times could be, one-offs or recurring classes. When we're able to leave our houses, you can do week-long retreats, workshops, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of flexibility and freedom. And then also we have an affiliate program. So what that does is allows your students, your existing network, to market your classes for them. And I'll kind of explain that in a little bit when I do the demo. It's also free to use the LubDub platform. We only get paid when we sell a ticket for your event. And again, I'll go a little bit more into detail about that in a bit. And then also we do marketing to support your classes. We do ask that you try to give us as much lead time as possible and try to make it as easy as possible for us to market your offerings. And then there's also cross promotion of offerings as well. So any users that come into our platform can search for your offerings, and hopefully as a community, we're also promoting each other's offerings as well. And then finally, there is a $5 bonus every time you refer a new user to the LubDub platform. And those bonuses can add up quickly if you do have a large student base already. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the Zoom platform, so the platform that you're on right now, in combination with LubDub for the scheduling, booking, and promotion of your offerings. There may be a time in the future where we integrate some kind of video conferencing within our platform, but right now it is 2 steps that you have to do. But it's actually very, very easy to do. So, and we're recording this as well. So we'll send out the recording afterwards if you have, any questions and you need to go back to the demo. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. And you'll have to excuse all of the tabs that I have open and all of the screenshots and files that I have on my computer. So it's just been a really busy, hectic couple of days. Okay, so here I am at Zoom. It's just zoom.us. And I'm going to suggest that you use the pro version of Zoom. There are other free platforms that you can use for video conferencing, but the pro version allows you to have 100 participants, and the meeting duration can be 24 hours. So the free version only limits you to 40-minute group meetings. So it's possible if you want to teach a 30-minute class to stay with the free version, but you do want to give yourself a little bit of time before the class happens. So it's probably better to maybe use another free video conferencing like Google Hangouts or Google Meets. We're not going to go over those in this webinar, but those are out there. And if there's a lot of interest, maybe we'll do another webinar to show you how to use those. We've just found that with Zoom, it's a lot easier for the students to use. Let's see. So I'm just going to sign in. All right. So the first step is to schedule a meeting. Really easy. So I'm going to say workout from home. Sorry. And then you'll just want to remember what you called the class. Then you're going to go down into the schedule section. And let's say that I'm going to start the class Monday, and it's going to be at noon for 1 hour. And my suggestion would be to do these as recurring meetings. You can always cancel, but if it goes really well, it's good to have the same link for every single class. So we're going to make that a weekly recurring meeting. And actually, I'm going to do it Monday and Wednesday. And we'll end on the last day of May. I'm going to unselect the require meeting password because that's just one extra step that your students will have to enter when they join. You can choose to do that if you want. I just choose not to do that. And then turn video for host and participants to on. We're going to leave all of the audio the same. I like to enable join before host because I think that's a better experience for students. And then I'm going to mute participants upon entry because I don't want any dinging to happen before the class, or excuse me, as the class is going on if somebody comes in late. So then I'm going to click save. And then from here, I'm just going to copy this URL right here. I could choose to copy the entire invitation, but there's a lot of additional information in here. If you do want to allow people to join via phone call, you could copy this, but I think most people are able to, find a way to join on their phone if they are going to use their phone. So my suggestion is just this URL right here. So copy that. And then after that, I'm going to go over to LubDub. And so it's lubbdubb.io. And I'm just going to start from the very beginning and sign out. So as a new LubDub user, actually you guys have all signed on, so you already have an account. But if anybody else is watching this who hasn't signed on, you're just going to go to the top right and click sign in. You'll click as a new user register. And my suggestion here, it says full name. If you do have a business name like Mandy Bateman Yoga Pilates Instructor, something like that, you want to put your business name in there rather than just your name. You can choose to log in with Facebook as well. But I'm going to actually go to our master account and log in. So from this page, step one would just be to go up here to create event. Yes, I do own a tech company, and I can't seem to type. So you'll put the title of your event in the very top of this form, and then you're going to click virtual event. And then here you're going to copy and paste your Zoom information. So one other thing here, we did have an instructor who wanted to share a playlist, a Spotify playlist. So this link and anything else in this, this modal will be sent out to the students when they register. And then again, it will be sent out 1 hour before the event. So feel free to put other stuff in there if you want to share a Spotify link to a playlist. But just know that you want to tell your students not to play that playlist through their computer, but to play it instead from their home stereo system, or maybe just their iPhone or something like that. So I'm just going to keep that link as is, click save. And it already knows that I am the teacher, so your information will be here. If you have teachers teaching underneath of you, you can add additional teachers as well. And then from there, you can select a photo. My suggestion for the photo is to make the photo something that will convey what the offering is. So this probably isn't the best photo, maybe someone practicing in their home, but this is not the place to put your profile photo. I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. And then in the description, I'm a huge fan of Simon Sinek's Start With Why. If I remember, I will forward that information, that TED Talk to you. But basically a nice way to write a description is first start with why the student would want to join, how they're going to join or how they're going to do the offering. So there you could put all you need is a laptop, a yoga mat, and a quiet place to practice. We'll talk a little bit about equipment classes if you do teach other fitness that requires equipment. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Why, how, and what will happen? What will the student get from this? So they'll get a good experience, they'll be able to exercise from home, and they'll be connected with their instructors, something like that. So that's my suggestion on how to write description. And then we have all of these different tags that you can add, and this is how our students search for classes. So I'm gonna do yoga, Pilates. We have a lot of really cool different tags in here. We have prenatal, postnatal, we have meditation, we have teacher training, small group, free classes, cacao ceremonies, self-development, a bunch of different yoga styles. So if there's something that doesn't come up for, or that it does not describe what you're offering, please let us know. We'll add that to the offerings. So I put my 3 or 4 tags in here. You don't have to add virtual event. That will automatically be posted when you do the virtual event button up here. So you can add up to 4 other styles. And then I remembered that my Zoom starts on Monday. I think it was 12 o'clock. Please remember what times you did for your Zoom meeting. And then I'm going to make it recurring as well. So we're going to do Monday and Wednesday. You can choose to do recurring weekly, monthly, or days as well. And then we're going to end it on the same day that we ended the Zoom link or the Zoom event. Okay, so hopefully that's all clear. And then you have a couple of different ways to price your offering. We do have some free events up there on our platform. My suggestion for free is if you're promoting something. I think that there's a lot of free offerings out there, and I really want to encourage you. I know there's a lot of service people who serve in this group. And I want to reach a big community as much as you want to reach a big community, but you really do need to support yourself financially right now. So you can always put in the description, if you can't afford to come, no one will be turned away, and have some kind of scholarship program for people who can't afford to come. But I do highly encourage you to put a price tag on your offerings, because what you're doing is very, very valuable to the planet right now. So I'm going to make my class $15. And because I have the pro version of Zoom, I can have up to 100 people join my event. So one thing about that, and this actually came up last night for Hannah's event, she had over 100 people, and she ended up adding on to the pro subscription. They have another tier so you can add more capacity. But one thing to keep in mind is that you are part of this capacity as well. So, and you may want to have some friends and family join, and maybe some scholarship people who can't afford. So it's probably good to bring that down to like a 95% capacity, just in case you want to invite your mom or you know, your loved ones or somebody who can't afford it. So, so those are the capacity and the price, and then reward amount. So this is one of the really great things about the LoveDub platform. Your students can earn money by promoting your class. So if Dynasty has a class on LoveDub and her class is $15 and she has this $5 reward amount, if I go into her class details page and I click the share button and I share it with somebody and they book through that link, I will get a $5 credit towards a future class. That is how LoveDub gets paid as well. So when we sell a ticket for you and we do promote your events, we get this reward amount as well. So in those situations, when somebody is sharing your event, you're just going to get whatever the delta is between, or the difference between $15 and $5. So in those scenarios, you would get $10. But it is absolutely possible, if you sell all your own tickets, to make that $15 per ticket price. And in addition to that, just remember that we bonus you $5 for every new user that you bring onto the LoveDub platform. So it's possible to actually make over 100% of the revenue of your class using our platform. So from there, I'm just going to click preview. I'm just going to make sure that everything looks good. And then I'm going to click save. So as this loads for a second, there is a screen that you will get the very first time that you post an offering. And that screen will say, welcome to the LoveDub platform. We really want to make sure that we have quality offerings in our platform, and so we must approve you first. So when you get that screen, don't worry. I just have to go into the back end of our platform and toggle a switch that makes you a contributor or makes you an instructor in our platform. So if you want to shoot me an email, I check it a couple of times a day, but if you want to shoot me an email or text message, if you have my phone number, and just let me know, Mandy, I've posted my classes, please approve me, definitely do that. This little, the photo is not coming up right now because we have a little bit of a bug. There's been quite a few new people using our platform, so we're just kind of debugging right now. So ignore that. That should be fixed in the next couple of hours. So my class is live, and now I just want to show you how to use and manage your classes. So at the very top right, all of this value up here, that's how much money we've earned by sharing classes. So if you are sharing classes, the amount of money that you have in your wallet will be up here. If you haven't done that or haven't earned any bonuses, then your name will just be up here. But to manage your classes, you're going to do that from my dashboard. So the next step as an instructor is to create your profile. So you'll just go down here to profile, and you can, your name will be here. You can put your phone number. We need the email address. I'll tell you why. You can choose your teaching styles here. Then you can put your bio and your certifications down here. You can select a photo. For your profile. And the reason and just to kind of back up for a second, the phone number and contact email are not surfaced to any users at all. When our users or students want to contact you, they just see a contact button. So this is all private, and no users will be able to get your phone number or your email. When they do message you, that will come through your email, and you'll just get a message saying that you've got an inquiry from LoveDub, and then you can have their email and follow up with them and answer any questions that they have about your classes. So from here, after you've created your profile, when you want to manage your offerings, you'll go into this instructor tab, So all of my offerings live here in my instructor tab. If I have one-off events, they're going to be here, but because I just created that series, it lives here. So all of the occurrences or instances of the class would be here. I could edit any of those just one instances by clicking on this little pencil. And then I could edit the entire series by clicking on this big pencil right here. And then if I want to look at my class, I could click the little magnifying glass. And then if I want to share my class, I can click on this little share button. And so there's share buttons all over the place. So I do spend a lot of my time in the dashboard. So this is usually where I get my links to share classes. But the reason I want to just spend a little bit of time on this is the way that our affiliate program works is through these share buttons. So I've just copied my affiliate link. And so what that means is when I enter that into the URL up here into the address bar, it has this code, oops. It has this code at the very end of it. It's like KDQJO blah, blah, blah. And that's how we know that somebody booked through your link. So make sure after you have created your class and you're sharing your class that you get it either from a share button or within the class details page, the promote your event button will also pull up this modal. You can share via email and Facebook and Twitter as well. That will also capture that tracking cookie so we know that you're the one who sold the ticket. So don't forget that. I want to make sure that everybody gets bonuses instead of going up here to the URL and just grabbing the URL, you definitely use those share buttons. Okay, so back to the dashboard. You can also edit the class. You can cancel instances of the class. So if you need to cancel an instance, just go into the pencil, top right, you'll click cancel, you can edit. If you want to cancel the whole series, you just would do it from here. This add drop-in button pulls up a modal where you can take a credit card payment. This is not super applicable for these virtual classes. I use this more when I'm checking people into my, real live classes. If, somebody comes in, they haven't registered, I can easily pull this up, enter their email, credit card number, and all that information, and they're good to go. You can also do that from the completed tab, and I'll show you that. The other thing to know is that your students are paying the credit card fee. And usually that's not too much money. We just really my whole mission is making instructors money. So we pass the credit card fee on to the students, and we haven't had any pushback from students at all. It's just a transaction fee. And then after your classes have completed, they'll live here in the completed tab. You can view your roster of students here. You can copy and paste all of their emails if you want to engage with them. And you could also add a drop-in if they need to pay after the class has happened. All of your earnings live here in this tab. What you'll need to do before getting paid out is to connect Stripe. So Stripe is a third-party payment processing platform. You have probably used it a zillion times doing transactions online. They do service most of the online transactions at this point. So if you do have a Stripe account already, then all you have to do is log in with your existing Stripe account. If you don't have a Stripe account, it's super easy. It's free to use. You'll just click on the Stripe Connect button, which is underneath your settings, and you'll tap this button. You'll have to have your routing number, credit card, or bank account number, your address. I can't remember exactly what they need, but this is the way that we're able to transfer the money that you receive for your classes, direct deposit into your bank account. The first time you use Stripe, they do this really weird thing where they break up the payment into these weird random chunks. So the first time you're probably gonna be like, wait, where's all my money? But they just do that, I think, to authenticate that you're a real user. But the next times that you get paid out after your classes, it will go, your entire revenue will go in one chunk. And actually that's not all the time. I've only seen that happen with one instructor. So just a heads up that that will happen possibly. So let's see, Stripe Connect. Stripe also does the payments for the students as well. So we never see anybody's credit card information or bank account information because it's a token system that we use with Stripe. So that is the end of kind of the instructor experience. What it looks like to your students is this search page. You can, like I said, you can search through categories, you can time, dates, location, instructor. Oh, look, Hannah just posted a new virtual yoga church. Awesome. So we have a free guided meditation tonight. If you don't have anything to do, that's going to be awesome. You can work out with me tomorrow at 10 a.m. Yeah, so anyways, super exciting. And the reason I'm just want to point that out is it's probably a good idea if you join as a student as well, just so you can get the student experience. And then you'll learn a lot about how you want to deliver your class to your students. So let's see. With that, I'm going to stop sharing and just talk a little bit more, or actually I'm not going to stop sharing. I'm going to keep sharing. You guys can all see you can still see my screen, right? Yeah? Okay, cool. So a couple other things. So I'm going to transition from the Zoom LubDub experience and posting and scheduling into what it's like to teach a class. Well, first of all, you're going to be nervous, and your dog is going to be barking probably. There's going to be stuff that you're going to figure out. Don't worry about it. What's really important, I think, is to turn off notifications on your computer. So if you have a Mac, the very top right of your screen, there's this, it's called in UX and UI design, it's called a hamburger. And you'll click on that little 3 lines and 3 dots right there, and it will pull out this, toolbar on the side. So you'll have to scroll a little bit because the top part doesn't come up when you pull the toolbar up, and you'll just go over here and click Do Not Disturb, right? So you just don't have any notifications that come up while you're teaching. Then make sure that your cell phone is turned off as well. And then we're going to, let's see if I can find this. We're going to go into our settings. So I go into settings through Launchpad, and you're going to go into System Preferences. And then in System Preferences, go to Sound. And so input, output. So you're going to want to turn up input. And so that is, so if I want to demo, I have my mat here, that hopefully you can hear me a little bit better when I'm way back here. You definitely want to use your teaching voice, so definitely project your voice. Or the best bet is if you have wireless headset that you can use instead. But I don't have that, and so I don't know how to do that anyway. But anyway, so if you can, input volume all the way to the top. All right. The other thing is to make sure that your computer is plugged into an outlet. The first time I did one of these classes, it was a yoga class, and I was in Pigeon, and I was having like the best time. I was actually pretty skeptical as a student, and I was in Pigeon, so I was like doing this like deep butt stretch, and I was just lying there on the floor, and like I was thinking, wow, we really are holding this pigeon for a long time. I don't think we held the other side for so long, but whatever, I don't care. And I was just holding. Well, turns out the instructor's computer died, like it ran out of battery power. And I was like just holding pigeon for a really long time. So make sure your computer is plugged in. And don't make sure your students hold pigeon for a long time on one side. But anyway, it was totally fine. And I learned a lesson, and now I can tell you all that story as well. So let's see. Oh, natural light. So if you have a lot of natural light in your house, you'll just want to make sure that the natural light is behind your computer. So I have a lot of natural light behind me, and it totally makes me super dark. So just make sure that the light is behind the computer. And again, feel free to add the music Spotify link in that modal that came up when you copy and pasted the virtual, the Zoom webinar. But just make sure if you do that for music, that you tell them your students to put it on their home speaker system or on their iPhone, just so it's not competing with your voice within the Zoom experience. There may be another solution that I'm looking into, so I'll be in touch with everybody if there is another solution to that. Your pets and your children, you know what? It's kind of super sweet and cute if your dogs and children walk in the room, just to let you know. But it's probably a good idea if you're, in a professional setting. But if it does happen, then your students aren't really going to care that much. And yeah, don't forget to take other instructors' classes just so you can get a feel for the experience. So we would love to, fill all of your classes, but we are a small platform, and we, have a lot of students on there, but there's no guarantee that you're going to have a huge class. So I want to empower you to market your own classes, and then in collaboration, we will market classes with you. So it's a really good idea to maybe start the engagement with your students now. You could do Instagram polls, you could do a survey sent out via email to your students and ask them what time of day, what days work for them. Do they have any equipment in their house, like foam rollers or weights or anything like that they can utilize? And that will help to, get the wheel going and get them excited about what you're offering. So, just in that regard, if you are teaching with equipment, you just want to make sure that your students have that equipment at their home. And after you post your class, I will probably send you an email that asks you to send me over a Google folder with additional promotional photos and videos. And so it's really much easier for me when I'm doing the marketing for the classes, if I can just go into your folder and pull photographs and videos and anything else that you've created, if you've created some kind of flyer or something like that. Just makes my life a lot easier. Again, please try to give me a little bit of lead time, although I do want you guys to start as soon as possible. Yeah, lead time is helpful because we're a small team. Tag LubDub Fitness when you're doing Instagram posts, because we will definitely reshare. We often ask instructors to do video content for us. We don't often get them to do that. 15 seconds videos, we will 100% put them into stories. If you give us a little bit of lead time, we want to promote your classes. We love to get the content. It makes our life a lot easier. So I think we're probably going to do like a marketing 101 coming up to follow this up, just to give you guys some ideas on marketing. And then some other places to share your events would be Facebook events, your Facebook feed, obviously, your Instagram grid. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. We're going to go over that in future webinars. Instagram stories. Another really great place, I think, to share is Nextdoor, if you're on Nextdoor in your community. Nextdoor is a little bit picky about promoting your own business. So sometimes they delete it, but if you can get like a neighbor or a friend to share your offering, I think it's, you know, it's good to go on there. So yeah, share within Nextdoor. Also, please send me messages if you have any other ideas about networks to share in, women's groups, moms groups. I think it would be really great to get people to be teaching, you know, mommy and me classes, because, you know, everybody's got their kids at home. So think about those types of groups. They really want to support you right now. And the last place to promote your classes that's really, really powerful is at the bottom of your email. You can create a signature at the bottom of your email and then link your classes in the bottom of your email. I track my, my links at the bottom of my email. Again, we can go over how to do that in another webinar, but I get so many people clicking on the links at the bottom of my email. So if you're not doing that, definitely put those in the bottom of your email. And then after your class, ask your students how it went, follow up with them, you know, have them give you feedback. Eventually we'll like be more engaged and like have more kind of ratings and that kind of thing. But right now, just analog that and you know, get their feedback and then use their feedback to promote your offerings as well. Also, create some screenshots possibly during your class, and then you can share that as well. So to do a quick screenshot as you're teaching, all you have to do is Shift Command C, push those 3 buttons together, Shift Command C, and that will capture the whole screen, and then you can share it within different groups. We do not support privates at this time, but you can absolutely use Zoom and then Venmo to support your private clientele, or you could try to get your private clientele into smaller group offerings too, like 2 to 5 people. So the capacity is totally up to you. Yeah, so a lot of people have been asking about pricing. You know, let's figure that out together, what works. I know a lot of people want to make it affordable, but I also want you to get paid. So please try to, you know, support yourself during this time as well. And finally, we are a new platform and there will be bugs, and please be patient with us if something does come up. The more information that you can give us if you get like an error message or something like that is really helpful. Screenshots are really helpful. And I will do my best to be on call as much as possible as these offerings roll out. I'm going to try to like jump into different events and just make sure that everything is going smoothly as well. And yeah, if it doesn't need to be corrected immediately, maybe an email. If you have my phone number, you're more than welcome to text me and let me know if something is going wrong. We have some other announcements, webinars coming up. We're going to go over questions right now. I hope you got a lot out of that, and we're really excited to support you right now.
Thank you so much, Mandy. I don't know about you, but I'm sure for other folks, heads are spinning. It's like, okay, I need this recording. I need to be able to step back and think about this. I know that we're right at time, but if folks want to stay on and have time for a couple of minutes, there's a few questions that came up in the chat box that I want to throw out there and get some answers to. If you're not able to stay on, that's also okay. We're going to keep recording. I've not turned it off yet to make sure that you can hear those final questions as they come through. So Mandy, just a few questions. The first one that came up was around, can LoveDub be used to share with like a fitness facility's membership base, particularly if their studio has closed right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I think most studios, there's students who have packages, right? And so you want to maybe draw from a package. That's all stuff that, because if you're using MindBody Online and the packages are already in MindBody Online, you will have to reconcile that because we aren't integrated with MindBody Online. But yeah, 100% you can use our platform. We have studios and individual instructors using our platform. So awesome. Hopefully that is helpful.
That helps. Thank you so much. There are a few questions on Zoom and varying passwords, which I will take and just follow up an email for everyone. I've used Zoom way too much over the last few years, so I'm happy to answer questions about that, as well as some background questions around Skype. Question around microphone that you use, recommendations for that, or is it just through computer?
I personally, I talk really loud in general. Um, so I don't use a microphone, but I do have 2 suggested microphones that I can send out to the group that just hook here if you want to use a microphone. But again, from like a tech point of view of how to like put the microphone into your computer, I don't know. I could try to find out for you though.
Okay, and then just on a similar note, just another technology question, webcam, any recommendations there?
I'm sorry, I've never used one.
I have, so I'll give you some recommendations in the email. I can also give you some recommendations of some maybe not to buy. So I'll put a couple in, and then Mandy will send those microphone recommendations out. Okay, so next question, and keep them coming in the chat because I can monitor both at the same time. Mandy, what are you seeing as the average price for virtual classes? Just out of curiosity in terms of like what people are charging on the platform.
$15.
Okay, super helpful. Okay, next question. So I'm gonna read a couple of these. Give me just a second. I'm just gonna go back up here. So Renee had a question on, so from our computer, some of us may be using Google instead of Apple. Is there tool setup advice around this one?
So Google instead of Apple, do you mean like a PC versus a Mac? Or I'm confused.
Good question. We'll see if Renee's still on.
Yes,
She's going to drop in some notes.
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time since I had a PC, but so the how to change the input for the microphone, how to turn off the notifications, that'll be different. What we're right now is the Zoom app. So I'm not really sure how apps work on PCs anymore. But you should be able to totally do the same thing on your PC. It's just going to be a little bit different than what I taught you in regard to those like tweaking how the notifications work.
Awesome. Thank you. Next question is on Spotify. So does that mean that there is a lag for the student experience if they play the Spotify from another audio source?
Yeah, that's probably not going to be a perfectly timed thing. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, we're actually doing a webinar on Thursday. We'll talk about that with another option for audio classes. But yeah, you're gonna have, it's all going to be very analog. You're going to have to tell the student to push play. And I did have another instructor tell me there was a way to have a Spotify playlist through the computer, but when we tested it out, it was like muffled and it wasn't a good experience at all. So if you do send a Spotify playlist, my suggestion would be to just be like not very specific. I know kind of, you know, like the HIIT instructors, Dynasty can speak to this. It is very, very precise. But if you're a yoga instructor or Pilates instructor and it's just kind of background noise, then it should probably be all okay. And also, you know, silence is nice.
I will say, just to add on before we jump to the next questions, that I've done some virtual classes where I have put Zoom on my phone. And then had Spotify playing on my computer and then put my phone like in front of my Zoom and in front of my computer. And it was a little bit of a wonky, like behind the scenes setup, but I got really good feedback about the sound coming through very clearly. So Zoom can also be on your phone too. If you feel comfortable, you could also do a class through your phone and then have your computer. If you think the sound might come better from your computer, than it would your phone. So that could be another option as well if you're playing it more on your phone, to switch it out. So that could be one thing. Next question, is there a way to provide a coupon code for some user? So wanting to offer classes for free to some current clientele, and is that possible to do like a coupon code?
Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff we're working on. One of them is like kind of a multi-tier pricing or like a sliding scale because we've gotten that request a lot. I expect that will probably be available in the soonest maybe like couple weeks-ish range. So for a sliding scale, that's most of the instructors have asked me for that. So we're definitely pushing that out as a feature very, very soon. The way that you can do that now, though, is you can just share that Zoom link with people who can't afford it, and not have them register through LubDub. Or if they, say you could send the Zoom link and ask them to pay you out Venmo $5 or something like that. But yeah, we are working towards a solution on that, but just don't have it built out yet.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question. We have some incredible instructors that have joined us from Europe and Canada and the UK, and curious about using the platform globally, converting the money, how do we charge? So wanting to ask that question.
Yeah, I knew this question was coming up. So Stripe does all the conversions for currencies. We'll send out a link to how those work as well. The one thing that we're working on and should be done by the end of the day is the time zone issue, like how it's surfaced to the user, because right now it's like you sign up for a 5:30 class and it's like, if you're in London, like what time is that? So we're working on, and should by the end of business day today have a solution for the time zones, and then we'll just follow up with more of the currency conversion. But yeah, that's all totally possible to have instructors use the Stripe, so for the payment processing and getting paid out if you're international or out of the US.
Great. Thanks, Mandy. Just a couple more, and then I think we'll be ready to wrap. But this next one is on, can we link a PayPal account to Zoom? And if so, this would be with a meeting or a webinar.
I don't know. You'd have to ask Zoom that.
So I can jump in and just to answer that one while I'm answering questions here. So on Zoom, you can't do it through PayPal. You can link to Zoom through Stripe if you wanted to pay through Stripe. The problem is, well, I shouldn't say it's a problem, but the difference is that Zoom then is going to charge you more for that. So there's an additive charge for that. And it's more around like hosting a webinar. And so it's an additional, it could be anywhere from $40 to $50 additional, versus if you just have like a Zoom account and then you're using LubDub, then your overhead charge is like $15 if you have Pro, $0 if you have a plan account. So it's really about like what you want to spend in terms of money. But being someone who spent a lot of time researching webinars and different options and figuring out what pricing is, there is a pretty significant upcharge that Zoom charges. If you want to do it, you definitely can, but it doesn't automatically connect to PayPal, and there is quite a significant upcharge to it. But you can look on Zoom, and if you go in there and you're like, I'm going to choose this plan, you can do drop downs. They have a bunch of different add-ons, and you can choose from those add-ons. Typically the add-ons start at about $40 and go up from there on top of what you're already paying for the monthly fee to use the platform.
So just to consolidate that, it's more affordable to use LubDub.
Question on, what's the percentage going to LubDub from classes profit?
Okay, so I know I always say this multiple times, but it's free to use LubDub. We only take we only get paid when we sell a ticket. So so remember when I did post a class, that form at the very bottom, you put the capacity, you put the price, and then you put the reward amount. If we sell a ticket, we get that reward amount. And if you sell your own tickets, we don't take anything, so it's free to use us. And then credit card fees get passed on to the students.
Okay. Scanning through.
And just to follow up on that, we do hope to build a platform where you can manage your privates. We help you more with marketing, and that we'll upgrade into a subscription service at that point. But right now our platform is totally free to use if you're selling your own tickets.
Yeah, and I see a note here in the chat that talks about the fees and what are the fees involved. And as a student, when you book a class or event through LubDub, they're charging a credit card processing fee. That's through Stripe. That's not through LoveDub. Just to clarify, Stripe does have a processing fee. So just to know what that processing fee is that they're referencing, that is the credit card transaction fee.
Yeah, and specifically, I believe it's 2.5% plus 30 cents. So in the example that I showed you, where it was a $15 class, I believe the credit card fees from memory was 31 cents for a $15 class for your students.
Great. A few more and then we will wrap it. So if I use LoveDub, can I allow more than 30-minute classes? Can I allow more than 10 people as opposed to Zoom? What's the membership fee for that for the instructor?
Okay, so there's no membership fees. It is free to use our platform. You can have up to 10,000 participants. That might be a bit. You might crash our servers. I'm joking. Yeah, so you can, your capacity on class is as big or small as you like. And there is no membership fee. Did I answer the entirety of that question?
I think so. We'll check and make sure. Okay. Going back to this pricing, just wanting to ask one more thing about the wallet, Mandy. I know it's fun because we had these same questions when I first started using the platform. So if the class is $15, for example, $5 goes to you, meaning $5 goes to LoveDub and $10 goes to the teacher?
Yeah, so for that example that I showed you, and you can change that reward amount. It could be $1 if you want. It could be, so for like retreats, when people, when we had retreats going, we had some retreats that were like $3,000 and they put $100 in there for that reward amount because they really wanted to make it compelling for people to promote their event. So yeah, the math is correct. If we sell a ticket for you and the class is $15 and there's a $5 reward, then you would get $10. If you sell your ticket, you would get $15.
Yeah, but you choose the reward. So it doesn't have to be $5. I have posted classes where I was like, there is no money that's going back. So that's completely up to what you're choosing.
Yeah, we do require that you put something in there. It has to be either $1 or like it can't be above the ticket price. Mm-hmm. So if the ticket price is $20, the reward can't be $21. But yeah, anywhere between $1 and whatever the ticket price is, you can put in there for a reward amount.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a commission. If you think about that, it's like a commission or a bounty. And then also the other thing is if you love other instructors on our platform and you want to make a little bit of extra money, you can share their classes and make money by promoting their classes. They really appreciate that.
Awesome. All right, well, we're at 3:02, so I'm going to wrap us because I know some folks are joining from different time zones and are probably, it's late in the evening for them or early in the morning for them. So first of all, just want to say huge thank you to Mandy for joining and hosting this webinar for all of us. We really appreciate it. We will be sending out some additional pieces of information, some questions that we couldn't answer today that we're going to put into a follow-up email, as well as if you have additional questions, you can reach out to me through that email. You can reach out to Mandy to get more information directly. So I'll make sure our contact information is included in there. And then last thing is we do have a webinar that's happening on Thursday. The webinar on Thursday is with Strut Club. And Strut Club is an incredible app where if you're not looking to necessarily video and streamline your classes, but you're looking to actually put like a workout as well as the playlist where somebody could take your playlist and the workout and work out on their own time with your class, they can do that through the Strut Club platform. And it's also great if you're like planning classes and you're like me and you have 17 Post-it notes for every single class that you teach somewhere. It's a nice way of putting everything into electronic system. So that will be Thursday at 11 a.m. PST time. Hope you all can join for that. If you're interested but can't join but want the info, sign up and we will make sure you get the recording of that. And with that, hope to talk to each of you soon. Again, once we send out the email, don't hesitate to reach out to Mandy or I if you have other questions or if you have ideas of other trainings that you love for us to offer. You know, our intent and why I posted this was I want to help as many of us fellow instructors as possible, and so does Mandy, and so does Amira from Strut Club. So if you have other things that you're really working through and need our support with, please don't hesitate to let us know. That is what we are here for. Hope everyone has a great day. Yeah.
And do you mind putting in the chat my email, Mandy?
I will.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.